Yeah, I think from my perspective, both in terms of music studies and in terms of music performance, it's increasingly necessary to demonstrate relevance outside. How does music affect, improve, impact society, both from political, from cultural, etc. Because this is a time right now when people are in such a need of showing that what they do is relevant, largely because of funding issues, both in the US and the UK in my experience. In particular, the UK has just had a number of cuts, and the US is going through issues with educational funding and support. And so now that we're at a point where things are judged based on their impact, their external impact, and that largely comes down to financial bases, we have to really show people who are not in the field currently, we know, as musicians or as music scholars or as music publishers, that it is an impactful art form or even an area of study, that it's essential. But we need to translate that for people who are making these decisions in government or in other cultural contexts, who are perhaps not as well versed or not as well trained. We have to do it in a way that isn't too pedantic, that isn't too elitist sounding. That's always a danger, particularly with art musics, that it alienates if you talk too much about it in an abstract way. I think that's very important. And I see, particularly in my own work, I think one of my own missions is to support work that does this, and to find new ways, perhaps, to demonstrate relevance, to demonstrate impact. It's tricky, but I think with things moving online in the publishing world, with changing environments, we may be able to find new ways to show this. But I think that's one of the most important challenges right now, to recognize that we need to communicate externally and show what we already know, show that we matter, and that that there would be significant loss, not only in terms of aesthetics and cultural enjoyment and whatnot, but in terms of world relations among people of different cultures. Can we imagine world leaders who have no cultural, who are not steeped in cultures, and how do they communicate between each other or among each other? It's and it extends. I think music sits at the center, or I'm prejudiced. I'm a music editor, of course. I think that, right? Music sits at the center, but I think it ripples out to humanities in general, to things that are less tangible, that are less quantifiable, the more qualitative aspects of our culture. So I think if we can do that with music and violence, music and politics, sustainability, obviously, how does music aid people to communicate, to resolve conflicts, I mean, we know it really does. It's just difficult to, I think, communicate that. So that's our challenge, figure out how to do that.